Aloha sports fans, and welcome to this season opening edition of the Maui News Sports Report. I'm Rob Colias, he's Jordan Helly. We're out here in a break in the rain clouds here at our Maui News office here in Wailuku, and here we go, man. It was a tough preseason for the MIL in football, 1-5 so far with one big game to play, but the real deal league play starts this week. I just finished my Skyriders tour through the league, and here are some thoughts to ponder as we kind of get ready for that Thursday opener, Jordan. A rarity that the MIL league play opens on a Thursday.
Yeah, second year in a row. It's a little bit of a rarity getting going. I love it. 3 nights in a row of football to start the MIL season. Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night getting going with that non-league game with Baldwin playing Mission Viejo, kind of sandwiched in between. I think a couple of takeaways from that preseason. 4 out of the 5 teams are slated to start underclassmen quarterback. Freshmen at both Kinke Kaulike and Lahainaluna, sophomores at Kamehameha Maui and Baldwin. So it should be a wide open league, and I think that 1-5 mark in league play, in non-league play so far, give it about half a season before we can kind of really evaluate how these young teams are going to do.
No doubt about it. There's been some, big games played throughout the state already, but we start, like we said, Thursday night. Lahainaluna, you got to start with them. They won 17 league games in a row. Yes, they lost 19 of 22 starting spots, and 25 of 47 on their state finals roster were seniors. But I'll tell you what, this Luna team, they just keep reloading. They own the only preseason win for the league so far, 65-6 over an undermanned K-Out team, let's be honest. But we saw a lot of flashes from the Lunas, and they had probably an important close loss to Kapa'a, 14-10 on Kauai. That could be a decider when things get down to state tournament seeding time. But Etuati Storer, one of those quarterbacks that you mentioned, he's just a freshman. But, man, he showed flashes. Kia Kenoleo is going to be a special receiver, I believe. He had 2 circus catches against KL, a host of running backs. Donovan Devang, David Kawabata probably leading that list. We're going to see a ton of guys. Now Filii, Christopher Kaniho, Sosaya Tupola. Those guys are going to be big on the lines and at running back. And they're going to help Luna's defense that I think is going to make them contenders again.
Yeah, they always ride on that defense. It'll allow that young quarterback store to kind of grow into that role. Don't count Lahainaluna out on the state level, and that showing on Kauai against Kapa'a tells you all you need to know. 4-point loss to the number 1 team in the state consensus in all the major polls. Maui High, of course, is defending Division I champion. They bring a lot back. It all starts with their quarterback, Austin Hoy. Of course, as they make a transition to a little bit more of a passing offense, they can transition to the spread under first-year offensive coordinator Kaulana Noa. Keith Shirota, first year as the head man there in Kahului, and that team brings a lot back on both sides of the ball, and I think they bring a lot of experience as well on the offensive line. Ben Osman and company, then you throw in Soane Valhea, who you could see on offense and defense. He's kind of the leader of that front 7 defensively. Nate Vieira in the back end of that defense. This was a defense that was very, very stout last year, and I think with that new transition offensively and that strong defense, you could see Maui High contending once again.
No doubt. And Jordan, I'll tell you what, watch out for Soane. You mentioned him. I saw him the other day. He's put on, according to the roster from last year to this, he's put on 25 pounds, and he looks like a monster. Kamehameha Maui, Jordan, you're the offensive coordinator there, but man, tough to replace a kid like Chase Newton. Well over 2,000 yards passing in the last 2 years, 1,400 of those last year. A couple really good receivers in Keone Keanini and Joshua Hiotashi. Those guys were literally MIL record setters, 1 and 2 on the all-time single-season reception numbers here in the MIL. But Kainoa Sanchez comes back at quarterback. He's going to be strong. Ikaika Chonki is going to be a guy that Cody Nakamura, and I know you know this, Jordan, he told me, hey, that kid's probably never going to come off the field. Going to be offense, defense, running back, linebacker, and a lot of special teams. And Kai Segundo is probably the guy that is going to need to step in for the receivers who have moved on.
Yeah, without a doubt. And a similar situation at Kinke Kaulike where they replace a senior departing quarterback in Kavika Hamalan. They'll go the youth route as well. Cameron Russell, who had a lot of good moments in their non-league game against Kamehameha Hawaii, and he had some freshman moments, as you would expect, but a lot to build around there. Bigger numbers on the roster for Coach Kyle Sanchez in year 3 for the upcountry school, and I think that's a great sign for them and a great sign of what Coach Sanchez is doing up there. A lot of athletes to build around. Micah Taberna on both sides of the football. Kavika Akahi, who we saw at quarterback at times last year, and a guy who you put the ball in his hands, he can score from just about anywhere on the field, and you throw around an offensive line that's got some size. Kavika Vallejo is back. He was an MIL All-Star last year. I think he will be one of the better linemen in the league, and that's a school and a program that I think is on the rise, particularly as they can come along offensively with that young freshman. But the defense will be a bunch of athletes again that can fly all over the field with the increased numbers. It's only going to be a good sign and a positive step for Kinke Kalike.
No doubt. And Baldwin, as down a year as they're ever going to have. Last year, they're back with first-year head coach Pohai Lee. This is his first head coaching gig since intermediate at St. Louis. One of his assistants was a kid he coached in those days, Josie Ofeli, along with Kavika Kahui, Lemoy Tua, Jack Demooney, a staff that's got 4 guys that were standout D1, NCAA D1 guys. So that I think Baldwin's going to be special with Chase Akaka at quarterback, that 4th guy who's just a sophomore. He struggled in their loss to Kamehameha in the preseason, Kamehameha Kapalama there. And, but they bring back Teja Kaka, La'akea, Kaho'o Hanohano Davis, and big offensive line. And an offensive line, Leafi Sateli has come out from volleyball. He's a big boy. And they've got 64 guys that are going to, the largest roster in the league. So Baldwin, don't judge by that 53-0 loss on Oahu in the preseason. They're going to be okay, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. Kavena Alo Kaunohi, a two-way guy, linebacker and running back. This is a team that brings a lot back. It all starts up front, though, I think, as you mentioned, with that offensive line and then those 3 skill guys, the Akaka brothers and La'a Koho'o Hanohano Davis, and they are weapons that I think Baldwin will look to exploit this year without a doubt. But the 3 games this weekend, I think it's going to be a great start to MIL play. Maui High, Kinke Kalike on Thursday, a non-league game, Baldwin and Mission Viejo on Friday. That's a 6 o'clock start, a little earlier than the normal MIL starting contest. And then Kamehameha Maui takes the trip out to Lahaina Luna on Saturday. 3 days of football, can't complain.
Love it. We'll wrap it all up in a big way next week with our first full-fledged Maui News sports report of the season. And in the meantime, send us your bobbleheads.